All right, what you guys were listening to just a few minutes ago was some live coverage of Ryan Hall, y'all. And what Ryan Hall, y'all, is he does. All right, what you guys were listening to. What he does is he play. Where's this coming from? Jesus. Of Ryan Hall, y'all. And what
is the live stream playing through there?
He does. What he does is he plays. Where's this coming? Oh my freaking God! All right, there we go.
Plays through there somewhere. Shut that off.
It's like you got a delay in there.
I know. I'm so done with all this. I just want to go to bed. We've been getting ready for this. We got the election this week.
Yeah.
And I'm dealing with all that at work. And it's just been a lot of stuff. And I'm just sick of it all, to be honest with you. I mean, the election's looking great, but it's the issue is it's just a lot with the broadcast. We're going to be live from 5 to 9 on our radio station. And we're going to have both our morning and our afternoon guys there at the same time. So it should be some pretty good coverage. And then we're going to take Fox National after that to midnight. So it's going to be all election night coverage all the way through with limited commercial interruption. Anyway, that's all there is. I wanted to tell you guys, we were covering the storm system with Ryan Hall, y'all, as we got started with the show tonight. There is a major storm system moving up through the middle of the country. This is a doozy. We've got right now a tornado emergency going on. We've got a number of tornado warnings all up and down through this line. And there's some really bad stuff here. Look at this. It's amazing. We've got all kinds of different indications here just on the radar that we get here. And you can see that these are some major storm cells. So Ryan Hall he's got some great coverage and he'll be on when we get done. I am going to be ending a little early tonight. I want to watch a little bit of this before I go to bed, maybe. And I'm not feeling well at all. So we're going to see.
Shreveport is one of my old stomping grounds. I was in the Air Force there. So,
okay.
So
I lived in Longview and Tyler, Texas, which is right in the way there.
Yeah,
further
right.
south.
We just had 3 cells cartwheel around Tyler. That all happened just before the show started. I don't know, why is this thing doing this?
This is an unusual time of the year for this kind of thing to happen, I think.
Yeah, spring's a little better, but these are the fall variety. It happens. It's you get that moist air coming up out of the Gulf, and it gets and then you get the cold air slicing it.
I was in Bossier City, Louisiana in '78. We had a EF4 go through there. So serious tornado.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where there's so much stuff on here I can't see anything. There's Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, it's all covered up by the
Talco. Yeah, I mean but you can't see anything because and I'm not that familiar with all the places in Texas. I think I've only been there like twice in my life. Let's see here.
Some of those I'm familiar with, but
yeah. And this goes all the way up to Illinois. Look at this.
Yeah, this is a whole long line.
It's a crazy, crazy outbreak that's going on right now, and that's why I said I've been kind of watching it with this. Anytime you guys want to watch storm coverage, I strongly recommend Ryan Hall, y'all, because he always seems to have the best coverage, no matter what it is. I'll show you guys here. Share screen. There we go. It should be showing the right thing. There we go. This is his coverage going on right now. He actually has it set up really well. This guy's one of the guys that I watch online ooh, somebody's phone's near the microphone or something. I watch this guy a lot because I try to see how the professionals do it. And by professionals, I mean other people on YouTube that are better than I am. And so I watch a lot. the lights in the back of him turn colors depending on what's going on.
Look at that.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got like a full red alert.
Oh yeah, when there's a
Listen.
tornado emergency, it blinks red. You hear a horn going off, and he's got this young guy over here on the right. He's a meteorologist, by the way.
Hill.
Yeah, he's Ryan Hall's Joseph.
Yeah.
But anyway,
And look at that.
don't get
red
pissed.
green over Shreveport.
if you don't get pissed about that, I won't get pissed that you found that sleeping picture again.
I don't think he ever lost it.
I don't think I was sleeping.
You
Anyway,
got a lot of red and green together.
yeah,
I think he's probably got that photo in a hotkey.
yeah, he does a lot of this. This view right here that you're about to see. Or wait a minute, no, he's back on regular radar now. He likes to. There it is, right here. This is called radial velocity, and what this shows you is the speed of the wind heading towards the tower site and the speed of the wind heading away from it. Green is heading towards it, red is away from it. Anytime you have hot reds and hot greens together, you've got rotation right close together. You've got a tornado, and that's basically the bottom line on that. That is some very high winds right there. And this is at the edge of the radar site, so that's why it looks so crappy. But we can still extrapolate from that we've got, that could be a debris ball even. It's huge. And he's starting to get storm
Tornado
chaser
warning,
footage
radar
coming in.
indicator, Upshur County, Texas, and then several others.
Yeah.
Sevier County, Arkansas, McCurtain County, Oklahoma. Okay. That's over there in the southeastern Oklahoma.
He'll probably be on all night. Ryan has done as much as 24 hours straight before on here. He takes like an hour, 10 minutes every hour. He's a trooper, this guy. He's a meteorologist. His other guys are meteorologists, and they all just got sick of the network coverage and the way it was done. And they've started their own private network here on YouTube, using YouTube as a platform.
Look at the destruction there. Looks kind of like Fort Myers Beach, doesn't it?
Yeah, or Eastern Ukraine. It all looks about the same.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, we'll come back to this. We're going to check in on Ryan and the tornadoes here in just a few minutes. But in the meantime, hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Southwest Florida TechNet. My name is Ian, KO4EFS. I'm here tonight with my co-host, Joseph, KM4OVZ, and Chris, and a bunch of our other regulars out here, including Dave and including Rick. Tonight, we're going to talk about several different things, including the tropics. We've got a new system to watch. But before anybody starts freaking out, I just want to tell you guys, we don't have the sauce on this one, okay? It's not going to be able to do the things that these other ones have done. It's not going to have the same conditions. And so we do have a low pressure system. It is going to cross Florida, and it may cross back across Florida. It's going to do something. We don't know. We're going to work on that here in just a few minutes when we talk about it. But we're going to figure out what this thing's going to do. Normally, I wouldn't make too big a deal out of this, but you have to remember, we got a lot of people with open roofs, tarped roofs, structural damage, debris piles 12 foot tall, like out in front of my mom's house. And so, yeah, there's a lot of reasons why we would need to be worried about this much wind or rain. We could get 4, 5, 6 inches of rain. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. And we easily could get, I would probably say, maybe 20, 30 mile an hour wind gusts. I don't think it's going to be a wind event by any stretch. So this is just something I wanted to bring to your attention, and we're going to talk about this later tonight.
Matt Devitt will be busy.
Yeah. And of course, after the last one, the whole staff is just worn out. Nobody wants to even look at the tropics right now. And I get that. It's like, oh my God, please don't. Let's not even.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. All right. So anyway, other than that, the only other thing I had, the big thing I want to talk about tonight is Joseph and I pretty much decided to go ahead with this multi-band repeater system.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do it. We're going to actually try to each get a system online this weekend to start testing, probably on 2 meter or something kind of easy. But we're going to actually get some systems online, and we're going to try to get a network set up between Huntsville and Fort Myers, and get that going so we can start using it. And then we're going to try to add more channels to it. In the newsletter this week, I put all the information on this for you. I'm actually looking for people right now that want to take a part in this. We're wanting to put as many on as we can. And so why is this thing taking so long to load? There it goes. And because what screen is that? I don't see a screen that shows that.
You have too
There
many
we go.
screens.
I know. I guess I do. All right. So anyway, in the newsletter on the second page, it's the multi-band connected radio system. And Joseph and I are working on all the particulars. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk about this with you guys tonight as part of the discussion tonight. But what I want to do, and I had a little bit of bad news today. I went and did some research. And if we keep it to where technicians can use the system, we cannot use 10 meters. And the reason being is they are not approved for FM on 10 meters, only
Just 28
sideband and CW, I guess.
Yeah, 28.5.
Yeah. So so we're not going to be able to do that, but everything else we can do, I want to keep it open for all amateurs. So the only way to do that is to put everything in the technician band. So we're going to use 6 meters, 1.25 meters, 33 centimeters, and 23 centimeters. Eventually, I'd love to find some radio equipment and get something going on some of those frequencies.
Mhm.
And then also, we're going to connect 2 meters and 70 as well. I mean, we're going to connect the normal stuff as well. And eventually more bands, more locations. And I would like to eventually start adding digital voice rooms to it as well. And to where you could connect to a DMR system and talk to us on this system. You could connect to a fusion system or whatever. I eventually want to get this to be a big system that a lot of people can get on and use at one time. You know, we can all talk to each other and use different modes to talk to each other. And it would be fun. It'll be a fun thing we can do. We're going to start out with everything on FM. And then eventually we may try some other modes and mixing them in. I know with FM, everything, it's going to be a little cleaner. So we're going to start with FM. What I'm looking for is people that would like to add, would like to add to the system. And what you need to add to the system is pretty much this: a radio that's on the band that we want to use, that you want to put a thing up on. You may only be able to put up a 2 meter one right now. You may only be able to put up a 770 centimeters or whatever, but eventually you'll get a 6 meter or something, and we can move yours over to, or add another one that's on more of a less used frequency. Remember, these are not repeaters, so we do not need repeater pairs. We do not need coordination. We simply go to simplex areas, because on frequency, it is simplex. So we don't require any kind of coordination, which means that we don't have to worry about curmudgeons.
Mhm.
You need a working interface with a computer, a smartphone, or a Raspberry Pi. We're working to try to see how exactly we're going to interface everything. But I have set up a WinLink with a Windows computer, I've set up an Echolink with a Windows computer, and I've set up an Echolink with an Android phone, and using it as the remote and plugging it into the radio. Both of those work. I used a Bofang and a smartphone, and I was able to connect it to a local repeater even. So it's amazing what you can do. You can also, connect larger radios using an interface.
Can I share screen for a second?
Yeah, go ahead. Let me dump out of this. Go ahead.
All right. So,
And matter of fact, you can take over at any time and whatever. Yeah, go ahead.
all right. So this little device here that you see in the picture is something that can be applied to almost any radio and is pretty universal. So what it is a little CM108 sound card. It's the bare bones version, doesn't have a plastic case on it or anything. And I've actually unsoldered the little plugs on it. So it just is basically a little processor on it and some diodes and resistors and stuff. And there's some very easy to follow instructions. They're not easy on the physical side. They're very simple, but you do have to solder a tiny wire to two of these legs on the IC, as you can see here. And those things are very small. So that's pretty touchy.
Yeah.
And these solder pads come up really easily when you're desoldering the plugs. So it's a bit of a challenging thing to do. Once you've done it a lot of times, it's not as hard, but you can build something like this. And what I have here is 4 wires. So red is TX audio, black is RX audio, and then you have yellow is push to talk, and white is carrier operated switch, or COS. And that white wire can be connected to any radio that puts out a COS signal, and that just tells the sound fob to open up the Allstar node for receive. So one of these costs about $3 to make. I bought a pack of 4 of these little sound cards for $10 on Amazon, and I just desoldered all of the plugs off of them and started modifying them. And of course the wire and the other component, the only other components you need is 1 resistor, and you can actually skip that resistor if you want. It just kind of makes it so the audio does not quite as loud, but you can adjust that on the radio side if you need to. So all you really need is some small wire, and you can pretty much build an interface in about 20 minutes or 10 minutes if you're good at it. And I built this one for Mr. Worldwide there. He's going to hook it up to his Echolink radio and have himself an Allstar node. So these are really easy to make, and I'm happy to make them for whoever wants them. I probably won't even charge you for it since they're so cheap, and I want to see this project succeed. If you want one of these interfaces, send me an email and I'll make you one, and it'll come like this with the 4 wires. I might add a 5th wire for a ground. I'm not sure yet. But it'll come like this, and it'll have a little card with it that says what each wire does. And you plug one end into a USB slot on an Allstar or a computer, and the other end you will have to make a breakout cable for your radio. Now you can get these from on Amazon. So say if you're let me pull up my other window here. Say if you have a DB9 connector. Okay, if it'll let me type. If you have a DB9 connector on the back of your radio, let's just say you have one of these, you can buy these kits. And I actually bought one of these, and I used it for my repeater thing. So it's a little breakout box with the little pins already there for you to just screw into. So I used some Ethernet cable, but you could use those same wires I just showed you, and wire it up to this. And all you need to know is the pin out of your radio's connector. So if you have like a DIN connector, 6-pin, like some of the Kenwood radios have, I don't think that's the exact one. There we go. I think it's more along the lines of this. It's like what the Yaesu has. You can get that, and I don't actually know how this one breaks out. I don't know if they have like a breakout kit for these, but you can get these connectors and just cut them off, and use a meter to find out which pin is which, and then you just look up your radio, for example, FT900R data port pin out. And you can just find a little diagram like this for your radio. So you have data out, which is actually audio out, push to talk. Oh, here you go. This is a whole website and everything. You have data out, you have squelch, which is also your COS, you have push to talk, and data in, which is just audio in. You have the 2 different bit rates on the Yaesu, but if you're just doing audio, it doesn't matter which one you use. And then you have your ground here. So if you just get a pin out for your radio, that's a good way to do it. Another way to do it would be Mike. If you don't have a data port on it, excuse me, I got a cough going on here. If you don't have a data port on your radio, you could also try and get a pin out like this, which will show you what your microphone connector does. Okay, I don't know what is up with this, but that's the Yaesu microphone port, and you can just do the same exact thing here. Although the problem is most microphones, unless they have some kind of LED that lights up whenever you're receiving a signal, they're not going to have carrier operated switch available on the microphone port. So you really need a radio that has data, or take an old radio that you don't, necessarily care a ton about, and crack it open. And you're going to have to find where carrier operated switch is located. And you may also want to wire your other stuff in at that time. So modifying a radio to work with Allstar is pretty easy. You just need that little sound card interface. And if we actually look here, man, I cannot operate this thing. CM108 USB sound card. You can get them for $8 or $9 a piece for just one, or you can come here. This is what I ordered, I think.
There's some that look like they'd be a lot. Oh, I see what you did. Those were the plugs that you took off.
Yeah, so you do have to unsolder these, and I don't know where to get them without the plugs. I think I saw somebody on eBay was selling them, and they somehow got them from the factory without the little plug on it. But you can get them here, a pack of 3 for $10, or you can just buy one for $8. But it really makes more sense to get the 3-pack, because then it's only like $4 a piece, less than $4 a piece, like $2 a piece, $2.50 a piece. So that's what I do for these Allstar interfaces, and I've made a lot of them now. I've made like at least 5 of these over the time, and they always work really well. The first one I made, I messed up, but since then, they're not difficult to make. And you can buy, if you don't want to get this exact one, because they're kind of overpriced in the bare bones form, unless you get the 3-pack. You can get them. See, like they're all like $9, $13 for just one. So you can get a bad deal or a good deal. Another thing you can just type in is USB sound card. And you can get this, something like this. That's still the same price. It's still $8.
That's what I'm using here.
Yeah, these are all about the same amount of money. Yeah, these are a little cheaper, but I don't know if those are the same model. So, the option for making one of these, and I'll make an interface. If you decide to do this project, and you have a radio you want to interface with, and you're going to do the project, let me know, and I will make you an interface and mail it to you for free, because I want to see this project work out. So I will send the sound card with the 4 wires, and you'll just end up with, can you not switch windows? No, you have to actually stop sharing. And then share.
Yeah, I just tried the same thing. I thought you could, but I couldn't get it to do it.
I will.
Probably an update that was a down date.
Anyway, I'll make you one of these, and then I can help you find the pinouts and everything too for your radio. So let me know. It's a pretty cool project, and I think it would be really fun to have a network of radios on uncommon bands, because I'm gonna hook one up to 220 here soon. I got a 220 radio and another 220 radio. It's a handheld, and I'm actually gonna put them on Allstar here, and we'll have a 220 node here at the shack. So it's a cool project. I think it'd be really cool to key up on 220 and come out on 6 meter or something like that. I don't know of anybody who's done that before. I'm sure it exists, but it's not very well publicized if it does exist. So I don't know. I think it'd be cool.
Well, that's why I want to do this, because honestly, ham radio's boring. And I think everything I try to do for ham radio, it seems to fall flat. I've tried a lot of things, and I can't find anybody that's really like totally interested except Joseph. I find a lot of people that help. A lot of you guys are here every Friday and kind of stuff, but it's really hard to find people like Joseph and I that are just like freaks. And so I don't know. I'm hoping maybe some people will get involved in this, because this is something that we want you to connect a radio or a motor, a method or whatever to this system, and basically increase our footprint and increase the different bands that we're on. Because what's going to be cool eventually, we may have a 6 meter at your house. We may have a 2 meter at your house. We've got a 440 at your house. We've got a 220 at his house, and they're all connected together all the time. And we can all get on there and just start talking to each other. And we can literally try talking back and forth with different bands and stuff. It's going to be really cool. And we'll eventually add more and more to it. And I think it will eventually become a fun community when we start getting other places? What if we find somebody in Atlanta that will put up one for us, or find one somewhere else? And we're going to publish this along with everything else we publish, and we'll get it out as wide as we can to let people know, look, this is available in your area on these frequencies. And it's like a fun net. It goes on all the time. And we'll eventually have nets that meet on this system once we get it established and get it going. So this is the plan. This is something Joseph and I really want to do. I tried the WatchNet and it didn't really work out. I'm still going to continue to see what we're going to do with that. But the WatchNet didn't work out. We had the biggest storm ever to hit, and amateur radio really did nothing the whole time. It was a big flop. So I'm looking towards something else now. I'm looking towards something where we can all have a good time with it and talk to each other on it. And I think it would be neat. So this is what I'm doing. My plan is to put up a 2-meter one right away so that Joseph and I can start testing. I'll let you guys know the frequency and the PL tone. These are simplex, but we are going to use PL tones because I think anyway, maybe that's something we need to discuss. If we don't use PL tones, it's going to be making noise all the time.
Yeah.
A PL tone, if you can get it to set your squelch level at a place where it doesn't come on all the time, it would be cool to have it off. But generally for the FM stuff, I think a PL tone is fine, unless it's on a band where most radios don't have that function. I know for a fact that my ICOM 7300 and my other HF rig, the TS440, neither of them have a tone encoder built in. So if we do a 10-meter or a 6-meter repeater, I think we should not have a tone or not a repeater, but a simplex node. I do not think that there should be a tone on those, because getting a tone into these radios would require yet another step of work to have something going like that. So that's just my opinion. But if there's too much noise on one receiver, then I mean, you may have no other choice. But
Yeah, I mean, we'll just yeah, I agree with you on that. And I don't think my HF will do 6-meter tone either. I'm not sure. So we'll have to figure that out. But let me see here. We'll figure that out. All right. So basically, what we're looking for, and I don't need a commitment tonight, obviously, but we're just looking for folks to get on board with us on this. We're going to also work with Echolink, and we're going to work with Allstar and see how we can mesh the systems together. The overall goal is eventually going to see how much can we connect together before it doesn't work anymore. And I think this is going to be a fun project. And everything else is connected all on the same band or all in the same mode, whatever. We're going to do something different. I'm going to open it up. Does anybody have any comments or anything on this that they would like to bring up?
well, I think this would be really cool if we can get it going. It's the next best thing to having an actual repeater. A simplex node works about the same, unless there's somebody listening and then they hear a weak signal and then a strong signal, but that's okay. I don't know of any systems like this where they have a lower frequency repeater connected to a higher frequency. I mean, I'm sure they exist, like I said, but I think this would be really cool if we had a bunch of different ones. And then the cool thing is you can chalk into one and see if you're coming out on the other. So to test your band conditions, transmit on the 10-meter side, see if you come out on the 6-meter side, or vice versa. It'd be really cool also, if it becomes more popular, to talk to someone on 10-meter with a handheld on 220. And I mean, that'd be really cool. Especially if you get skip rolling and you have somebody far away coming into your little node. I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
I mean, this would be something where you could get 6-meter going between here and there, and Joseph could turn his or go to his phone even and pull up Echolink and listen to the Echolink, and he can call out on my node frequency down here on 6 meters and call CQ and see if he can hear himself.
Yeah.
And he may be able to hear himself back over Echolink. That would be something really cool. So that's the kind of stuff we're looking to do is connect a bunch of different things together. And then eventually when we have nets on there, when people call in, they'll tell us what town they're in and what system they're on or what mode they're operating on or whatever. So that'll be kind of cool. I think that'll be a neat thing. All right. Does anybody else have anything else on that? All right. Joseph's going to tell us a little bit about the Allstar nodes and the way they work and everything. We were talking about this earlier, and apparently Allstar tends to work best with Raspberry Pi, and Echolink tends to work better with Windows or with Android. So go ahead, Joseph.
All right. Well, the difference between the two, and I've talked about this before, but I just think the difference between Echolink and Allstar is that Allstar has better audio latency and better audio quality. Compared to an Echolink node, there is a quite noticeable improvement in sound fidelity. That being said, Allstar, with my level of skill and most people's level of knowledge, can only be ran on a Raspberry Pi. They provide an image that you can flash to an SD card and just put it on there, log into it, set your settings, and you're good to go. It can be ran on an actual Linux machine.
Yeah.
But I don't know
A
how
lot
to
of
do that.
people aren't going to want to tie up a Windows machine to do this. Yeah, that's why the Raspberry Pi is a better solution if you can get them.
Well, you can also get the Beagle Bone Black, is kind of like a Raspberry Pi, and it's a lot
Yeah.
cheaper. I think they're going for like $50 right now, which is a lot better than a Raspberry Pi. I just hope the people who are buying all the Pis don't find out that the Beagle Bone exists and then buy all those too.
They're not exactly compatible. I think they're different CPUs, but same idea.
They are.
Single button.
They're just similar devices. But they have an image that they make for the Beagle Bone that you can also download from the same place where you get the Raspberry Pi image. So Allstar I like because you can set it on a Pi and just have it run by itself in the back. Echolink, however, is better if you have a interesting situation. So Allstar cannot use Vox to transmit sound over the network. It has to have carrier operated switch to let the Allstar software know I'm receiving a transmission over RF. I need to start broadcasting it over the internet. And that's a problem if your radio does not have a data port. A lot of handhelds like this 220 Baofeng here, they do have carrier operated switch. So if you have a handheld, you can probably get it. But on a lot of base stations, and as we found out today, Ian's TYT 9800, which is a clone of the 8900, doesn't have a data port, which is an issue if you're trying to do this project. You can plug into the microphone and get audio into the radio, but you can't get PTT out of the radio. Carrier operated switch out of the radio. So Echolink has the software that can run on Windows and has a Vox feature. So this means all you need in and out of the computer is audio. Most radios have a Vox setting. Now, again, I think we found that Ian's TYT 9800 also does not have Vox. But a lot of radios do. So if you're limited on it, GPIO pins coming out of your radio, Echolink is another good option because it has a Windows interface. It can be set to Vox. You can have audio in and out, and these modified sound cards do have when the computer starts playing audio out the speakers, the red wire, like the one I showed earlier, it'd be the yellow wire, that goes high. So the sound card has a sort of Vox operated push to talk wire. So if you're using a radio that doesn't have a data port, that only has audio in and out and push to talk, Echolink might be the way to go, because then you could plug that sound card into a Windows machine or a Linux machine and set your software to use Vox for the input. And I believe Ian did that for a long time with a Baofeng radio, so it definitely works. Besides that, another thing is just if you don't have a Raspberry Pi, Echolink running on a spare cheap laptop might be the way to go. So that's all I really have to say on it. I think Allstar is better just because of, like I said, the better audio latency and other features it has. But I mean,
Question about this. Does this have the capability or the possibility of controlling an HF rig remotely?
it does, and especially does with Echolink. If you plug a Signal Link box into an HF rig, you can use it with Echolink using the Vox feature on the Echolink. So you could create a node for yourself and then log into it on the phone. You would not be able to change frequency. You know, it doesn't have it doesn't have a cat control, but transmit and receive, yes, you can do that with an HF rig.
You could always do cat control separately too.
Yeah.
Which you would want.
Yeah, you can hook up.
I'm just saying, during certain hours when there's somebody around to listen to what's going on, you could turn an HF radio on and,
Absolutely.
do something like that. I wouldn't want to leave it on 24 hours when nobody's listening.
Well, the biggest thing is that whatever mode you're on HF, if you're on single sideband, you're going to have to figure out some way, at least if you want it to be connected to a large network. If you're just doing it privately, then it doesn't really matter. But if you're on a larger network and you don't want the node to stay keyed up all the time, you're going to have to figure out a way to make your HF rig not
Squelch.
Yeah, you're gonna have to squelch it somehow, and that's kind of hard to do on HF because signals will come in real low or they'll come in high. I mean, a lot of HF rigs do have a squelch feature, but that needs to be adjusted a lot depending on what you're listening to.
Yeah,
so.
you're sitting there riding the control all the time.
Well, that's why I said I want to start out with everything on FM.
Yeah, keep
And-
it simple, stupid. And get it
Right.
going.
Let's keep it simple because I think if we start trying to connect AM and sideband and all this kind
Right.
of stuff in it
You
first,
wouldn't want to start out that.
no. And we may start a second one later where we start connecting some other equipment. But for right now, I'm looking at FM and digital modes, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be that way at least at the start.
But I think that way it'll stay clean. We want it to stay nice and clean.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's where we're going to be working over the weekend on I think from what Joseph's telling me, we can connect our Echolink node room, our Echolink room to an Allstar room, right? So that they can basically we can use either system.
Yeah, so the Allstar node, when you go into the configuration file, it has the ability to operate as an Echolink server. I haven't done it before, but I'm going to figure out how to do it and try and get that set up because that would be pretty nice to have two. Then way I can use Allstar because I like it, and you can use Echolink because it works better for him. So you can
Excuse me, sir.
interoperate the two.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Go for it.
I was wondering if oh my gosh. Oh my god. Oh.
No.
Oh.
Ban him. Ban him, Ian. Ban him.
I am trying.
Oh my God.
That is hilarious.
Dude, you gotta make me. You gotta make
Boy,
me.
it's talking such thing as showing your donkey. Good grief.
And that's the kind of childish bullshit that gets me kicked off of YouTube.
Yeah.
You gotta make me co-host, man.
I thought he was going to start puking. That would have been funny.
Well, there's nothing like showing your ass by showing your ass. Anyway, yeah,
Ee-oh.
that must be one of Joseph's friends, I guess. He's
No.
making friends at a record pace up there. All right, well, there we go. That was our excitement for the night. So there you go.
Somebody had to show off their wazoo,
Yeah, well, I don't really care. All right, so there you go. I got him banned off as quick as I could, and I'll I try to make Joseph and at least one or two others co-hosts. So when that happens, you can probably react faster than I can.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's that. So
Damn,
that's the most exciting thing that's happened all week. So there you go.
Yeah, boy.
Some guy showing us that he works out a lot, and he's got a very manly physique there. Anyway, all right, so let's get
That's
back to
almost
it.
as exciting as your friend that the sheriff had to chase that time. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Very similar.
Yeah, except that guy's still in jail. All right, so anyway, I want to go back real quick. There's a couple things we do need to talk about tonight. I want to. We're going to get more into the Allstar and the Echolink. We're going to actually set those up for you guys live as we go through it. But we're going to be doing a lot of this tomorrow, setting it up so we know how to do it, and then we're going to bring it back to you guys in the coming weeks. I am still looking for people to bring topics. If we don't get topics or people wanting to bring topics soon, I am going to start to regurgitate the topics from a year and a half ago. And we're going to go back and we'll start with FT8 again, and we'll work our way down through SSTV, and we'll do a single sideband test, and we'll do all those things we did back when we got started.
We'll go
Which
into
is-
reruns.
We'll basically go into reruns that aren't really reruns. We're going to still do them live. But even though ham radio, it's not really a hobby. It's actually more like a group of hobbies. You can still run out of it. And we are kind of getting there. I'm down to specialties that no one in this area or no one within our network of people here want to do or can do. And so once we reach that point, like we have now, we kind of have to, we have to fall back on something. So here's what we're doing. We're going to build this network. And so every week we're going to be working through this, building this network and helping everybody else build it as well. And that's part of what we're going to be doing here on the TechNet going forward, because I figured it would probably be a lot better if we have an ongoing project. We were trying to get some other projects going earlier, but I just couldn't get anybody interested in doing anything with it. So hopefully with this, maybe this is something we can get some people involved with. If you guys know anybody out there that's not on the TechNet or maybe doesn't know about us, that might be interested in putting up an odd thing, putting up some weird system connected to our system, I don't care where. I'd love to get some big towns. I'd love to get some other places to put up a 220 in Atlanta or you know, a 6 meter in Tampa or so. I would love to get some places on here that would be really cool. But we're going to start out with our local area here first. We've got some folks down in Naples and different places, so maybe we can get some coverage in this area. I plan to put up a 2 meter right away, probably this weekend if I can get it going. And if I get it going, I'll leave it up. And then probably I may try to put up a second one right away, because I have everything I need to put up 2 right now, I believe. The second one will be on a Bofang radio and an external antenna. And that one I'm going to connect to the 775 and see if I can establish a link between our system and the 775 for when we do nets and stuff. And so I'm gonna try to get 2 of these things going over the weekend here. So we're gonna see how it goes. Who knows? We're gonna try it. I have set up an Echolink before with a Windows computer. It's really easy, and I set up one before with an old cell phone. I have 3 old cell phones that are in great shape, and I'm going to be setting those up as different nodes. I eventually would love to set up a system that I could put somewhere and leave somewhere. Like when I go up to the mountains or something, I could, you know, leave something, put some, I got different places up there too. I've even thought about a battery in a go box and something you can put somewhere and leave it for a couple days and hide it up in the, up on the top of a mountain or something. There's some really cool things I'm thinking that we can do with this system with cell data, cell packet data and stuff like that. There's a lot of really neat things we could do with this. And so I'm hoping this will be something that will spark an interest in ham radio again, and not just be a bunch of old stale guys talking back and forth on a 2-meter net every morning about what pills they take or whatever. This will be
I don't even
more.
listen to that net anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I ain't gonna say nothing.
That-
Anyway.
That's almost as bad as the guy who just left
Yeah,
or that got booted.
yeah, there you go. Well, he could probably use some pharmaceuticals too. But anyway, yeah,
I think he already was on recreation.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
pharmaceuticals.
probably already on some pharmacy.
yeah.
Rick made me to it.
Oh my goodness. Well, I hope Jiggles doesn't come back, but we'll see how it goes.
It was definitely weird.
I'm gonna nickname him Jiggles.
Jiggles.
Yeah, that's Jiggles because
What
he
if that was the
because
eighth?
he jiggles and we all giggles. Anyway, that's what I'm gonna call him. So
Vomit. That was
yeah. All right, so let's move on for now. I am, like I said, I'm going to get going pretty quick tonight because I've got a lot going on. I still have to dial into work after this and make 3 commercials that have to be loaded before 6 a.m. And then I got to put a weekend show together and get it loaded. And so I've still got work to do tonight before I can go to bed. So like I said, I'm going to call it a little early tonight.
Yeah.
But before I do, we still have a couple things I want to do. And one of those is going to be, I want to just run through the newsletter real quick. We're going to talk about the tropical update, which has changed just a little bit, but not a lot. And then we're going to go back and check in on the tornado emergency again. And then after that, when we close the net, I'm going to invite all of you guys to go over and continue the coverage with Ryan Hall, y'all, who I think is going to be wall to wall all night. Okay. There's these mysterious blue auroras that happen that are really cool. You can read about those. There's also a video. You can click for images and different things. But look at these from a couple of days ago. Is that amazing? Pink auroras. These were some of the brightest pink auroras they've ever seen in Norway. And they said that they were just absolutely amazing. And so I got a story about that in there.
I've heard of
And-
pink Cadillacs, but never pink Auroras.
Yeah, it's not a common color. Of course, green's the most common color. Anyway, there are some nice weather coming up. Some pretty temperate weather, actually, even a little warmer than usual on a couple of days coming up. I got a few funny boners today. Not so bad. That first one's funny though. Of course, it's kind of dirty, like the last guy I just booted. But baby, it's not the size of your antenna. It's how far you can shoot your comm. Yeah. All right. I'll just leave it there. All right. So there you go. I got all this other stuff in here. These events have been on the list for weeks now, but they're finally coming up this weekend. There's 2 of them. Sarasota. There's the Ham Fest in Sarasota this weekend. And there's also one in Apopka. And yes, that's how that's pronounced.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's see here. Swap Shop is next weekend, not this weekend. And there's a couple of cool stories in here. There was one here, POTA. POTA's been doing really, really good.
Mhm.
And I think that's really cool that wow, I'm seeing text popping up.
Texts.
Yeah, I think I see Chuck out there, who's a friend of ours here in our family. Chuck, if you're in the chat room out there, it's good to see you in my stream. I go to his quite a bit. Yeah. All right. Anyway, let's keep going here. FCC proposes a new bureau for space activities. So
Oh, great.
yeah,
That's what we
isn't this
need.
great? That's what we need. We discovered space. Now let's go regulate it.
So
All
why
right.
can't the Space Force do this?
Yeah, I know. And we got a Space Force. So now we need people up there, writing people tickets for not IDing every 10 minutes. You need to ID every 10 minutes, please. All right. And let's see here. Oh, contests. They're interesting. There's 3 contests canceled this weekend, and there's only really 2 big contests this weekend. and one of them CW. So
Yeah.
kind of a waste weekend here for contesting. Not a lot going on. Something new. I put this in. This is from like a year and a half ago. If you guys haven't made your custom call sign, the link's right here. What are you waiting for? It's really, really easy and it's really, really fun. Make sure you use a clear background. Click background and click transparent. And that way you can use it on anything. Reminder, this is tomorrow starting at 11 a.m. The Edmund Fitzgerald, the old Big Fitz went down, as you guys know, in the Great Lakes in a November storm. And they're going to be memorializing that tomorrow. So try to get W8F, Whiskey 8 Foxtrot, tomorrow between 11 a.m. and I think it goes to about 3:30 p.m. And so there's all the information on that. It's right there in the newsletter. Website of the week, of course, AMSAT. You guys already know that, but it's a great website. You check it out. All satellite operations for amateur radio are all on there, hence the name HamSat. Let's see. App of the week. This is the WJTX monitor. I will tell you, this monitor will not let you transmit. It only receives. So I suggest using Chrome Remote Desktop or TeamViewer, and that's how you drive your system. But this is great if you just want to dial in real quick and see what the propagation's like or something. It's kind of a neat program. You can also, did you know you could hear radio noise from the sun? We did this about a year ago, but this talks about it all right here. You can actually see, you can actually hear from this, hear the interference from the sun. And one last thing here, Cars has a 6-meter net, and they do it on it's on sideband, but it's vertically polarized. It's an interesting thing they're doing up there. They do it on 50.200 upper sideband, but they're vertically polarized, and they're having fairly good luck with it over ground, but not perfect. And I also have the origin of Elmer in here. There's a lot of different people that think they know why the term Elmer became. And I actually did some research the last couple of days, and I believe I found what's more likely to be the actual reason. And that's all in here if you'd like to read that. And of course, we got all the latest information and all that kind of good stuff in there. So let me get rid of that. And let's go ahead and get the hurricane information up, or the hurricane from Mike's weather page. Sorry, guys, I'm real tired tonight. I know I'm not on my game, but we're going to make it happen anyway here. This is the latest.
Orange.
Yeah, it's turned orange. This is the latest from the National Hurricane Center. Now, the one thing you need to understand about this, we're not in the time of season where things will rapidly develop like we were 6 weeks ago. Okay. We're in a time now where things can develop, but not necessarily rapidly develop. The chance of this thing turning into a hurricane is probably 5% at this point, but it may be a tropical storm. So we have to kind of watch it. If it wasn't for all the blue tarps and the debris and the compromised structures and lack of transportation, all that kind of stuff, that makes me worry a little bit when we have a second storm coming in, even though it's forecast to be basically just a rainmaker or maybe a little gusty wind maker. But we do have to watch it. So what I want to do when we have a second here
They
is
got
go.
pretty excited about those thunderstorms coming in a couple nights ago. So the severe thunderstorms,
There was one up DeSoto County, the last place that needs water right now, because they got flooded worse than anybody, and they ended up with it. So, but let's go ahead and run this. Let me pull up a better one here. Okay, so this is the Euro. So let's go ahead and we're going to run the Euro and see what happens here. But you can see it starts to bring this low pressure up from the lower right. Oh, it's not going to run that far. No, it hasn't run out that far yet. So let's just go back to the other one here, to the last one. This is the noon run. It hasn't changed all that much. You can see it wants to bring this low pressure all the way up here into the Bahamas, basically. And it holds it there for a day or so, and then it moves it right over the bottom of the peninsula. So, and then it deposits it out here where it comes back across the peninsula again. So this just turns out to be a 4 or 5 day rainmaker, although the models are not really picking it up yet with huge amounts of rain. So, like I said, it's one of those ones you have to watch. And then let's look at the GFS, which, as you guys know, has not been a good model this year. The only good model this year really has been the Euro.
Yeah.
The Euro kept calling that right turn, remember?
Mhm.
And the GFS kept putting it left, left, left. Now look where the GFS is way out here to the right, but notice it's deepening. It tries to deepen this thing. 992 millibars, 985 millibars. That's a tropical storm.
Mm.
982 millibars, 978 millibars. That could be a Cat 1 hurricane.
Man.
So this is definitely something worth watching. Now, this is not the best model, but it is one of our models that we use. So again, I just think we need to watch this thing because we could have an exiting storm system coming over us. And all it takes is 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts to really aggravate those tarps that might be on somebody's roof. So we might have to be ready for this one. Now, when are we talking? We would be talking a landfall Thursday, November 10th. So we're talking over a week away here. Or I'm sorry, 6 days away here. It would be the end of next week, towards the end of next week. So I know we got to watch this one. Let's run. I got one more model we can run. Let's run that one. Let's run the CMC and see what she says. Let's see if this one has any Genesis. There we go. There it is. And there's Genesis again. We're now in the 900 millibar range.
998.
And it brings it in as what could be a weak tropical storm into
Daytona Beach.
Daytona Beach to the Space Coast.
Yeah.
And it's a swipe.
Goes up Georgia coast.
Yep. So there you go. So that's why I bring this to your attention. It's not that I'm out just trying to find something crazy going on. Let's see, all that's kind of old. And they're really not issuing anything on this yet. The other one we're watching is down here, but they're not really forecasting it to do anything. It's just sitting on its D down here.
Yeah.
And I think they're figuring it's going to wash out. So that's probably why we're not seeing anything from that. All right. And that's pretty much the tropics. But so we seriously do have something to watch next week. And this could easily put a strong tropical storm off the east coast of Florida in 5 or 6 days. And so definitely something to watch. And remember, we've got the other coast got tore up a little bit too when Ian was leaving the area. We had some damage over there. So this is going to exacerbate recovery up the east coast as well, it looks like. So we'll have to see what happens. The Euro has it not strengthening, but becoming a real mess over South Florida, where the CMC shows development and has it hitting as a tropical storm on the east coast somewhere north of West Palm, south of the Space Coast. And then, of course, the CMC showed something deepening almost to hurricane strength. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. That's kind of crazy if you think about it. I'm going to go. Let's go back over to Ryan Hall, y'all, real quick. He's Rick. I second that emotion.
Yeah. I couldn't get to sleep till 3 o'clock this morning. So one of those deals.
Yeah. All right. So, man, look at these storms, guys.
Oh, cats.
I mean, you're talking about some major storms here moving up.
That's some hairy stuff. Holy shit, there's a tornado. Is this live?
Man, he just sitting there looking at it.
There it is.
Yes.
That's an EF4 or 5 wedge tornado on the ground right behind him there. Jesus.
He's
Look at
supposed to
that
be
thing.
running away from it, man.
Now, you guys don't understand that. I was asked the other day, if you suddenly were rich, what would you do? And I would probably move out west and buy me a storm chasing truck and have me the best storm chasing team ever. And I would go chasing these tornadoes. That's what I would do. Being rich would not, most people say, well, if I was rich, I could be lazy the rest of my life. No, if I was rich, I would be busy the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because I would have the best radios and the best storm chasing equipment and everything. And I'd also buy me some ghost hunting equipment too. I'd be doing all that shit. You guys have no idea. I'd be up science's ass for a while. It'd be fun. Anyway. Wow, look at that. Look at that. This is radio velocity, guys. And this is winds moving away from the tower site at an incredible speed.
There it is. It's
Yeah, now
just
that's a
yeah,
smaller one there. But that's getting ready to be a huge one.
like the Tuscaloosa tornado.
Yeah. Wow.
Got a tornado watch in Shreveport, northwestern Louisiana, and eastern Texas, much of eastern Texas, up into Arkansas.
They're getting hammered.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is bad. It's covering about 5 states right now.
Nature's been on the rampage here lately. Between our hurricane and their tornadoes.
What's
Yeah.
the name of the base in Shreveport, Rick?
Barksdale.
Yeah, that's where President landed during the 2001 September 11th
Yeah.
for a refuel.
Yep.
When you lived there, did they have the boats in Bossier City?
Did they have the
Oh.
what in Bossier City?
They call them the boats. They're boats that are docked. You can't even tell that there's a boat there, but it's gambling casinos on the water.
No, there were no casinos there at that time. That was the late 70s. That's when I was there.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
sure it's
making a lot
changed
of
an
money.
awful lot since I was out there.
Oh yeah, money.
Have some lightning.
Incredible.
See all those little plus signs?
Yeah, this is one hell of an outbreak. And I got to tell you guys, just like with hurricanes, we lucked up with Ian. I know you're thinking, oh, what? What did he just say? What did he just say? Most of the bad parts of Ian hit Collier and Lee County during daylight hours.
Yeah.
Collier got all of their bad winds during daylight hours. Now, Lee County, we still had hurricane gusts going on outside till about 2 a.m.
Yeah. That was kind of like Donna. Donna was that way too.
But the eye wall itself, the really bad winds all happened just before dark,
Yeah.
between like noon and just before dark. And
Mhm.
so we really didn't have the anxiety that you get when you hear it coming apart outside and it's dark.
Night. Yeah.
It just changes everything. It really, really does. It changes everything. And so these people right now that are about to experience this thing, look at that. It almost looks like twin vortices at this point.
Yeah.
Or it could be a debris cloud. It's hard to tell. This is radio velocity. So remember, when it looks like this, we're looking at rain.
Yeah.
But when they switch it to this, we're looking at radio velocity. That's the speed that the wind is moving away or toward the tower site. It's so important to understand the difference between the two. This is radio velocity here.
Mhm.
And you're looking for what they call a couplet. which is two colors that come together, two harsh colors that come together. And that shows you where you have opposing winds that are touching each other. He's got about 5 or 6, 7 people that work with him.
Yeah.
And they keep popping in. And he also works with all the storm chasers, a lot of the storm chasers. And his coverage, I'm telling you, it's second to none. You will not get this good of coverage on the Weather Channel. I'm telling you.
No.
Because they would have already had weather on the 8s 3 times. They would have been a commercial break 3 times at 4 minutes per spot block.
Yeah.
And and it gets really ridiculous. Fox weather is better,
Yeah.
but you're still going to get a full commercial schedule.
Yeah.
Wow, somebody's about to get a phone call.
That's
It
coming
isn't me.
from that's coming from you, I think.
Sounds like a chicken.
Or Rick. It's either you or Rick. I think
Gun Barrel City.
I think my phone,
Must be a
my
tech-
phone's down here in my bag. So, I mean, that's definitely not me. I don't have my phone anywhere near my equipment. If I sit my phone right on my sound card box, it'll do that. It'll go.
Apparently got some chasers out running around, and you can see like
Yeah.
Cass County, there's a load of lightning there.
Yeah, I love this. I like when I get done here, I got to stay out here and work on some audio for the station before I can go to bed because
Tornado warning.
these ads will start running first thing in the morning. So I have to get those done tonight. So I'll sit here and watch this while I'm doing it. And I'll probably,
Shreveport.
there's probably 3 or 4 other people doing this as well.
Yeah.
And also I was wondering, eventually, Joseph, you'll be down the pipe for this system.
Oh yeah, eventually, if it makes it here, it's pretty far away to make it here. Usually, stuff that's that far away fizzles out, but I don't know. Usually, for
Yeah.
us to get
A
it,
lot
it
of the
has to
energy
be-
may go further north by the time it gets that far east.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Then again, you never know.
Usually, if we're gonna get something, it has to be in Tennessee, Illinois, or what is that, Mississippi? What state
Yeah.
is that? It's got to be a lot closer than it is, but we'll see. It might.
Yep, I got to tell you that the Ryan Hall y'all coverage is bar none some of the best coverage you're going to get out there, and so I strongly recommend it. When we close out here in just a few minutes, join me over there because I'm going to go over there and I'll see if I've got who else we've got over here.
I guess he did stuff on the hurricane too. I don't know.
Yep, and I see my buddy Chuck Bronson still in here. Thank you for coming in tonight. Chuck is a fellow YouTube content provider that like I am, although he has a lot more subscribers than I do. So thanks for being here, Chuck, and some others out there. We've got a number of people on YouTube tonight watching, and we really, really appreciate that out there, guys. We've got a number of different folks out there. So, all right. I do appreciate it, everybody. Does anybody have any projects you're working on that you'd like us to possibly work with you on?
I'm still doing the robot thing, but this is just the prototype. It's a kit, but I'm working on a totally new design that's larger. It's twice the diameter of this thing, which is only about, what, 7 inches? It's
Oh,
going to
wow.
have walls on it and will probably have a face. It's going to look like a kid's toy, but it's actually going to be reactive to things. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's going to be a ton of R&D. But
That is really cool.
Light is capable of.
As long as it needs forward and aft phaser cannons.
Well,
Field
yeah, I know, huh?
Probably put a
Here,
Guy Fawkes mask on it. or
Amazon is
something.
selling shield generators now. You can put on there. Runs
There
like
you
12
go.
volts.
Shield generators?
Yeah.
it runs on 12 volts and you throw like a rock at it and it bounces off the shield. You know, it's like a force field kind of deal.
Yeah. That's
There
what
you
I
go.
need.
That's what I need. I need one of those for my van.
Sooner or later, they're gonna have that. Like
That way, when
literally.
the slow drivers get around me, they'll just bounce off my shield.
It would be kind of fun to build about a 5 or 6 foot robot with hands and all that stuff to keep outside when all these people come around here. You know, a lot of them sit out in front of my house sometimes and send that thing out there with a couple of flashing LED lights in
In my neighborhood, they just pick it up and steal it.
it.
Um,
Come up with some lightning bolts or something.
there you go.
Cool, yeah.
I got to tell you guys, you know, that there is really some neat stuff coming out now. It's amazing what you can just buy on Amazon. So, you know, I told you guys before, you know, that a radio studio used to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I can build a professional radio studio in your house for a couple grand.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing what you can do now. It's just so much cheaper than it used to be. And so that's why we can all be content providers like this, and we can go on YouTube and use the world's largest broadcast platform, and we can all use it and all take a part in it. And I think that's amazing. I have almost gotten to where I exclusively watch YouTube. I watch Star Trek on Paramount Plus. When there's new stuff coming out, I like that Strange New Worlds, and I kind of like Discovery. Not much on the other ones, but other than that, that's the only TV I watch. Everything else I watch is like Chuck and different content providers on YouTube. I watch almost everything on there. I like a lot of different stuff. I like the Constitution guys, the First Amendment guys. I'll tell you something else I like. I like the most haunted this, the most haunted that. I like to yell bullshit and point at the screen. Because I was a paranormal researcher. I was a paranormal researcher for years, and I can sniff out the bullshit right away because the real thing is pretty easy to spot.
Sounds
too.
like my response to certain political ads, and I'm not going to say which one.
Yeah, well, there you go. And I got to tell you, I also like other kinds of content, documentaries.
Yeah.
I found some great. I watched a great documentary the other day on lighthouses around the country. There's another documentary. I like a documentary channel called it's called Fascinating Horror, and it's basically all about fires and bridge collapses and things that have happened in our past that you may or may not have ever heard of. And
You know,
it's
if
really
I-
interesting.
if I can
No, go
interject here
ahead.
for a second. Something that is really interesting that I watched some videos like that, probably from the same channel, of different disasters that have happened, and most of the time, disaster is caused by human error.
Yes, it is.
Almost
Yeah.
every single time.
Yeah, you can blame it on this or that, but if you go back far enough, it's either something someone did today or something someone did 20 years ago when the building was designed. But for one reason or another, yeah, it almost always is a human error. Absolutely. You know, like these crush. If you guys ever see things on a crush, that's like when you get 1,000 people try to fit through a door and they all start falling on top of each other. They call that a crush.
Like a stampede.
Yeah, and there has been some just dreadful crushes. A lot over in England, and places over in Europe, but a lot over here too. And all it takes is a rush of people and one person to fall down, and you kill 50 or 100 people. It's incredible that what happens.
How about
And
that suspension bridge in India?
Yeah, I think I saw that one.
Oh yeah,
If
it's like they were swinging on that thing before it went.
Oh, that's the one that just happened like 2 days ago.
Yeah, a couple of days ago.
Yeah, there was something going on. They had something going on, and it could have been some kind of sympathetic movement. Have you guys ever been in stands? when all the fans start rocking to one song and the stands
Oh, yeah.
start moving.
Start vibrating, yeah.
When you get a coordinated effort of people moving, it's an unstoppable force.
Yeah.
And if you literally took everybody in the stands and said, all right, I want everybody to go left, right, as fast as you can, and you got them all going at the same time, you could bring it down.
You could throw a lot of weight around and
Yeah. And so you got to be careful with stuff like that. If you get 10,000 people on a bridge, what's 10,000 times 200? We're over that bridge's weight limit now, and now they're going to all start swinging from side to side.
Yeah.
So people don't think about stuff like that. You know, you don't, when you put furniture in a building, you don't think about the building load.
It must have been some really good Bollywood music that they were listening to.
Yeah.
Collective excitement, and but I don't. I saw it in the New York Post, but I didn't read beyond the first sentence, so I don't know what the weight bearing guidelines of the bridge were.
I don't have any particulars on it either, but
I wish I knew.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see some good documentaries come out on that in the next couple of years, but for right now, I don't know. You know, it is I was just watching this one on this demolition over, I think it was in China somewhere, and it was a demolition of like 30 buildings, 30 high-rise buildings, and they built them, and then while they were building them, they went out of business and somebody else bought it, and during that time all the basements filled with water and it ruined all the buildings and they had to demolish all the buildings. You know, crazy stuff there. I watched another one a couple of days ago on a building somewhere over, I think it's in California or somewhere. It's leaning one side of it is not in the bedrock, and so they're literally putting in like pylons next to it and trying to jack it up and all this. I'm like, oh my God. They've got
a condo tower in San Francisco which leans.
I think that might be the one I'm talking about. I think it was San Francisco. It's leaning right now. It leans about 21 inches off where it should be at the very top.
I'm sure it leans to the left.
In San Francisco, I'm sure it leans left. Yeah. Probably leans pretty hard left.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I'm on my second concert next week of being forced outside of my will to show my vaccination card.
Oh, here we go.
I want to be vaccinated and boosted for next week's. This is a fiddle concert, and last week was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde performed by some drama club.
That's cool. You should consider moving to a democracy like Florida.
There you go.
I'm just thinking. I know it's terrible. I don't want to get political too much, but I think if you're going to be the party of my body, my choice, then maybe that should count for shots too.
I guess I don't quite understand why I'm forced to show that if I have no symptoms and I'm wearing a mask. I don't see why a card is necessary.
I don't think it should be necessary based on the fact that it's ineffective and it doesn't work.
Yeah. And the mask is ineffective and doesn't work either. That's like my favorite saying about masks is that's like trying to keep the gnats out with a chain link fence.
Yeah.
Yep. The people, the politicians and the vaccine have a lot in common. They're very ineffective and they don't work.
Yeah.
The only thing the masks do is make us feel better.
Yeah, it is. It's true. It's and it reminds people to stay a distance and things. There might be a small benefit there, but it's but for the most part,
small.
No, it might if you're like a blazing case of it and you're in a room full of people and you're sneezing all over everybody. If you had a mask on, it would probably help.
You'd probably get slapped too.
Well, there's some places you'd probably get shot and drug out, but
we aren't in Texas.
Yeah. Why is the anti-gun guy picked this year to run as for governor in Texas?
I don't know. Same reason Judas Christ decided to run here.
Well, yeah.
Cousins.
I'll never figure that out. It's like the worst time. I'll never understand why someone will say, well, this is the worst time you could ever run for governor right now. So, yeah, I'm going to throw my hat in there and let's do it. But then again, they're politicians. They're not smart.
They love flushing their money down the toilet.
No,
Problem
they love flushing their donors' money down the toilet. That's
and
the part
our
that
money
gets me.
down the toilet.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking which, I hope everybody either voted or will be voting.
I've already. voted.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm going with my mom tomorrow. We here in Lee County, as I'm sure you already know, Chris. Here in Lee County, we have 12. Basically, we have 12 voting locations and no precincts for the first time ever. No precincts. You can vote from now until election day at any of the 12 locations with ID.
Yeah.
And somehow that's voter suppression. I don't know, but
Of course it is.
but this works, and we've got great numbers so far. I normally vote on the day. I'm a precinct voter. I like to go to my precinct and see my people and vote with the same people, and I go with my family. We all go together. It's kind of a tradition.
Yeah.
But this time, we've all decided to go tomorrow because Tommy Doyle, our supervisor of election, has tried very hard to make sure that everybody gets to vote. And he's asked us all a personal favor to vote early and to not wait till the day of the election. So we've elected to go ahead and honor that wish and to do that. So yeah, we're going tomorrow.
Yeah.
You
I
sure he
requested a
doesn't?
mail-in ballot and I filled it out and I got in the car and took it over to the election center.
That's what Trey Radel does.
And put
Yeah.
it in the box myself.
That's what Trey does. He gets a mail in and then drops it off manually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't mail or vote early, vote often?
Oh, no. Well, that's the new thing this year. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Democrats, you don't vote till Wednesday. It's a new thing this year. It just started this year. I'm going to see how it goes.
Okay, Donald.
We did that on
No
the
more
air.
politics.
We did that on the air one night. We came on with breaking news and we said, hey, by the way, everybody, there's a new thing now. Democrats vote on Wednesday. I thought people were going to flip a gasket, dude. Oh my God. Oh, it's voter suppression. No, it's like, look, if you're stupid enough to listen to our show and vote on Wednesday, then I guess you're stupid.
Yeah, you don't deserve to vote.
We were joking the whole time. It was pretty obvious. Anyway. All right. Does anybody have anything else on that? Anything else with any of this stuff?
As far as Allstar node setups, I'm gonna be, when I do a blank node here in a couple days, when I get Joseph's treasure in the mail, I'm gonna be making a list of questions. There's a whole list of questions that Ham VoIP asks that people seem to forget. Even I've been at Allstar for 7 years, and I feel like a dummy, an absolute moron, because I never remember any of these specifics. I mean, there's questions like, is COS inverted? Is the PTT line inverted? None of these YouTube videos go over each individual question in detail like I like to do.
No.
I should make a video on that.
Yeah, I mean, I know it comes to some people as common sense, but not many people.
I guess
have
is
common
that the
sense,
push
so.
to talk signal and the COS signals are high until they're invoked, until they're active. Well, that is what you
just-
call inverted. Yeah.
For the sound fob that I'm gonna send you, COS invert will be turned on.
Yeah.
Everything else should be left as default. But I can make a guide on that or something. I think that'd be a good video because, yeah, like you say, there's only a few videos on people setting these things up, and when they do, they cover like the first few screens, and then it's like, okay, and now that you're all set up, it's like, no,
Yeah.
you didn't know. So this
Carrier
kind of stuff you have to
detection.
learn.
They assume that you know a lot of stuff. You know what assume means.
Carrier detection.
Yeah.
Invert PTT equals 0. Should the PTT be grounded to transmit? No. Should de-emphasis filter be enabled? No. Should pre-emphasis filter be enabled? No. Hit enter if you're using a low-level output receiver. All these, there's like 12 or 13 of these questions. I at least screwed a couple of them up because I'm sitting here with a Rimalenko and it's fucking it's not transmitting. It's just sitting there acting as a goddamn receiver, and I've had it here for 9 months. So clearly I screwed something up. It's probably not the design or any modification. It's probably not a shorted pin on the CM108 chip. It's probably something I did wrong that I just can't find.
Those settings. Too bad.
So there's
Is
something.
there a way to go in there and set those back to factory default? In other words, there ought to be a way to do that.
Yes, there is.
The very first question they ask you on ham VoIP is, what radio are you using? And I said, the Echolink series, the
Yeah.
Mark III series, and it took, but, and I thought, great, it's going to be plug and play. Sure enough, it's not. So there's
Plug
something,
and pray.
yeah, there's something drastically wrong. I'm really pissed off about that. I mean, to the point where, like I was on IAX RPT just transmitting, and then that broke. So
Golly.
anyhow,
All right. Well, luckily we're in this now. We're going to be doing this right along with you. So hopefully we can figure it out, because like I said, we're going to be setting up both Allstar and WinLink before it's over with here. So hopefully we can help you out with it. Hopefully I can learn about it too. I'm looking
this
forward
is
to
the
it.
cable for my original fob. This is my original fob. This is the KC1AR. This guy in Florida who he quit Allstar for some reason. Maybe I forced him off. I probably bugged him with too many questions. But this is the original fob. This is the original StarTech fob. Okay. This is the interface, the modified interface, the old CM108 chip. And this, which I think Joseph is going to send me part of the cable for. Oh, oops, here we go. Part of the cable for. Let me put some light on it here. Lights, camera, action. That's
just a regular serial port.
Yeah, that's
Is
the
it?
9-pin.
9-pin, right?
Goes on the back of the Echolink. So, I mean, the Echolink is a great radio. I don't know why they call it El Stinko. But
Big O radios. I've got one for 220.
We used to call it Ailing Co. because they never really did that great of a business.
Yeah.
But they're still here.
Yeah, they're still
Yes.
around.
They do use crappy mic cords, so I call them quick rock cords.
yeah, I broke
Yeah.
it.
And Joseph, that system is going to weaken a little bit, but it's going to reach you tomorrow about 5 p.m.
Okay.
Oh, fine.
So
Well, I've got man, my nose looks really red in the camera. I've got that antenna out there. Tomorrow I think I was gonna try to put an actual concrete in the ground mount for it, but I might have to wait till Sunday if it's gonna be wet that evening.
what the hell?
What is this? Model standing viewer.
Oh, I hit something.
HRRR. I don't know what the hell.
I hit something and it's
Hit a bloody wrong button.
yeah, it's like what did I hit? I have no idea. Let's just go back to here.
That's like me on an Android phone. I'm always having trouble with inadvertent activation. Something comes up all of a sudden.
You know
What the hell is this? And why did it come up?
what's getting me with Android phones right now is the fact that the phone rings and there's no way to answer it.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah, it does it all the time to me. It'll be ringing and ringing, and when I pull a screen up, it's on some other screen. And then when I go to home, then I go to phone. I have a real hard time. Sometimes I can pull the shade down and find somewhere to answer it there.
Yeah.
Anyway, and my mother's got a Google phone, and it's really bad. I wish it would stop doing that. All right. So anyway, I was going to show you this, Joseph. This is current 1 Zulu.
Look at that shit.
And we go through, this is tomorrow, 17 Zulu. So that's like noon. I guess it's going to get to you more like in the middle of the
Looks
day.
like the worst of it's going to go south of Huntsville.
Yeah, well, it always does.
Yeah. I mean, it's still really bad over here, but it starts to thin out a little bit.
Yeah.
Of course, models tend to lessen as time goes on a little more than it actually does, but you have to just watch it. you still could have a good cell come through, but I don't think it's going to be this bad as it is tonight up there. That's crazy what's going on right now.
No, we'll probably just get some rain.
And there's a little bit of snow behind it, but it looks like it's too far north for you guys this time.
Oh wow.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. So that's
Mega, 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 mega,
Wait a
mega.
minute, be quiet so we can figure out which one it is. It'll light it up.
Coming from Rick.
That's what I was gonna say. I thought it did come from Rick.
He was green while it was happening.
Where's your phone, Rick?
it's over here. It didn't do anything.
I don't think it's your phone. It may just be something. Audio stuff is weird. It doesn't.
That's a cellular signal. I've heard it before. It's definitely a cellular phone, but it's an older phone.
Yeah.
Here's the phone.
Rick, do you have an older phone?
It's G4. It's not. What is the? It's a couple years old. 3 years
It's
old.
It's not 5G, is what you're saying. right?
5G, yeah. 4G,
Okay.
That's more than a couple of years.
yeah,
More like 5 or 6.
yeah. I'm getting ready to. I guess I'm gonna start thinking about replacing it soon.
Hey, if it works, you might just save yourself.
But that's true. That's
Yeah.
Although
true.
I
It's
will
still-
say this for it, right after the hurricane, I had no internet here, so I put turned the tethering on this 4G phone and was able to get on the internet. It was better than nothing.
Yeah, I couldn't even do that. I tried everything. I ended up talking to my sister in California, and she called AT&T and put in a trouble ticket, who tried to call me several times, and it eventually went through, and they worked it all out and got me everything back. Whatever they did, and I mean, that was like internet. Yay!
Wow, those are cool.
I've
I'm
seen the
gonna go
Northern
see-
Lights before when I was on Lake Ontario at night.
Yeah, these were like literally from yesterday, and we've had some great geomagnetic activity.
Sweden. Okay, I want to know where it was.
The main thing we're looking at here, although it's a beautiful show, look at these blue auroras back here.
Yeah.
I mean, they're calling it blue auroras. I mean, I would have thought I don't know. Of course, Airglow's not normally that color, and Steve's not normally that color. I don't know what else it could be. I mean, what else? An oculescent cloud, maybe.
Maybe a cloud of some kind.
Well, it'd have to be an oculescent cloud because it's glowing. It's producing its own color. Anyway, I just thought it was really cool. I think stuff like this is so neat because it's a little bit of a mystery. What is this blue?
Okay, that might explain it.
Yeah.
More oxygen.
Yeah. So anyway, I love this kind of stuff. So anyway, there it is. And all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it unless anybody has anything else.
I don't have anything else. I'm gonna go check out Ryan Hall and see what he's got to say.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up Ryan Hall. Actually, he's already going up here. I'm just gonna turn his volume up while I sit here for another hour and a half and work on work stuff. I can't believe I have to do this. I want to go to bed.
One more question before we go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you still interested in that radio?
Oh, yes. Yeah, more than likely I am. I'm going to be billing a client this coming week, and I should be able to get it.
Okay.
I want to give you a fair value for it. I mean, those things I think they're going for a little over $200 now. So I gotta give you a fair price for it. So, I'm interested, but if, yeah, I'm interested. I'll let you know in the next week or so if there's gonna be more of a delay. So if you find somebody else, you can sell it to them. But
Yeah, you got another week is fine.
yeah, I'm working on it. I once I get this client build, I'll be fine. I should be able to get that from you because I want another one. I love these radios, and the reviews are coming back really good on them.
Yeah.
So I guess they need to start copying these Japanese radios because they did a good job on this one. I wish they
Speaking of-
copy a good ICOM or something next time too.
All right. Well, keep me posted.
I will. Yep, I will. And I got your email, and I will stick. I'll send you something when I can. All right, guys. Last call. Anything else for anybody?
Can't think of anything.
All right. Well, Ryan Hall is still live. I just checked, and he is still live on his channel. There you go, right there. And they're doing their thing. So
Getting closer and closer to Shreveport.
yeah, there's 4.
Where's his,
Anna's really getting slammed.
Yeah, Texarkana.
where's his broadcast originate from?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I mean, is it a channel that I could get?
It's on YouTube. It's a YouTube channel. It's called Ryan
Is
Hall
it?
Y'all.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just said that.
Yeah, we usually put this up on one of our big TVs inside when he's on, because I like to follow this kind of stuff. So,
I bet the Weather Channel's following it too.
well, I'll tell you what, there was a time when I could have had I could have wore a Weather Channel t-shirt. I was the biggest fan. I loved the Weather Channel. They used to go to storm alert mode and everything would turn red, and they'd cancel all the commercials, and they'd play the war music, and they'd send out Jim Cantori, and it was exciting.
And Stephanie
well-
Abrams hadn't been married and had kids, and she wore those wonderfully tight white t-shirts all the time. And
Yeah.
Stephanie Abrams. Yeah, she was hot.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
But now what you get on the Weather Channel is basically nothing. You'll sit there for 9 minutes and then realize they're not even on the air because Ice Road Truckers is on. And whatever. I think that the Weather Channel has become literally worthless. It's a shame.
They still
But-
have the highest ratings.
Yeah, sometimes when there's something going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
like
good night.
When it's politics, Fox has the highest ratings. When it's Weather Channel has the highest ratings. But yeah. Anyway, all right, guys. We'll catch you guys later, I guess. Anything else? Last call.
Anything?
Praise be to Tucker Carlson. Praise be.
There you go.
All right. I'm fine with that. I'm down with that. All right. All right, guys. Everybody have a good weekend out there. And I'll be around all weekend if you want to give me a call or something. Everybody have a good one out there.